Good morning. Today we are starting with chapter 22, Chemical Coordination and Integration. Previously we have discussed about neural system, how they coordinate with the various organs, and neural system or neural coordination is actually very fast, but it is short-lived because the nerve fibers, they do not intervene in the cells of the body, and cellular functions, they need to be continuously regulated. So a special kind of coordination and integration has to be there in the body, and that function is carried out by hormones. So the neural system and the endocrine system, they jointly coordinate and regulate various functions in the body. So in this chapter we'll be studying about endocrine glands and hormones, human endocrine system, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, pineal gland, thyroid, and various other endocrine glands. And in the later half we'll be studying about the mechanism of hormonal action. So you can have a look at the diagram, various location of the various endocrine glands in the body: pineal gland, thalamus, pituitary gland, thyroid, thyroid gland, parathyroid, thymus, adrenal glands, pancreas, uterus, ovaries, and testes. Endocrine glands and hormones. Endocrine glands are those which are ductless glands. Ductless means they are not having any ducts or pipes or vessels which helps in secretions, carrying the secretions. So their secretions, endocrine glands and their secretions, they are called as the hormones. And hormone is a chemical that is produced by the endocrine glands, and it is released into the blood, and then it is transported to a distantly located organ of the body, which is called as the target organ. So hormones, what would be the definition of hormones? Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messengers, and they are produced in very trace amounts. So that is the definition of hormones. So the new definition covers a number of new molecules in addition to the hormones secreted by the organized endocrine glands. In vertebrates, they possess very simple endocrine glands with a few hormones, whereas a number of chemicals will act as a hormone and provide coordination in the vertebrates. So here you can see the difference of the endocrine and the exocrine glands. This is the endocrine gland, which is not having any duct. Here directly pour its secretions into the blood capillaries, directly into the blood. So in the exocrine glands, they are provided with these ducts. They'll carry the secretions from the exocrine glands. So in this chapter we'll be dealing with the endocrine glands. Human endocrine system. The endocrine glands and hormones, they are producing from various tissues which are located in the different parts of the body, as you can see here in the diagram. Now there are various glands like pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenal, pancreas, parathyroid, thymus, gonads, and till hypothalamus. We'll be studying all these endocrine glands and their secretions in detail. So let's talk about hypothalamus first. Hypothalamus, it is the basal part of the diencephalon. Diencephalon is a part of the brain, forebrain, and it regulates a wide functions of the body. It contains several groups of neurosecretory cells which are called as nuclei, which produce the hormones. So these hormones, they actually regulate the synthesis and secretion of the pituitary hormones. So you can see the location of the pituitary gland here, which releases a number of hormones which further stimulate the other endocrine glands to release their hormones. So a hypothalamic hormone, for example, gonadotropin. Suppose gonadotropin is released by the hypothalamus. It is GnRH, which is gonadotropin releasing hormone. It stimulates the pituitary, and it stimulates the pituitary to release the synthesis of the hormone which is called as gonadotropin. Okay, gonadotropin will be released by the pituitary, and the somatostatin is the hormone which is released from the hypothalamus. It inhibits the release of the growth hormone from the pituitary. So these hormones, they are originating in the hypothalamus neuron, and they reach the pituitary gland through a portal circulatory system, and they regulate the function of the anterior pituitary. The posterior pituitary is also in the direct neural regulation of the hypothalamus. So let's talk about pituitary gland now. The pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity called the sella turcica and is attached to the hypothalamus. You can see the position of the pituitary gland here. Now it is divided into two parts. One is adenohypophysis and second is neurohypophysis. So adenohypophysis is So pituitary gland has got two parts. One is adenohypophysis and another is neurohypophysis. So adenohypophysis, it consists of two portions which is called as pars distalis and pars intermedia. The pars distalis region of the pituitary gland is also called as anterior pituitary, and it produces growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, as we have seen in the previous slide. So these are all released by the adenohypophysis. Then pars intermedia, that secretes only one hormone which is called as melanocyte secreting hormone. It's a middle part of the pituitary gland, and it secretes only one hormone which is called as melanocyte stimulating hormone. In humans, the pars intermedia is almost merged with the pars distalis. Neurohypophysis, pars nervosa, it is also known as posterior pituitary. And it stores and releases two hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin. Now these are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and they are transported to the neurohypophysis. So oversecretion of the growth hormone stimulates the abnormal growth of the body, leading to gigantism, and low secretion of growth hormone resulting in stunted growth in the pituitary dwarfism. So excessive secretion of growth hormone in adults, especially in the middle age, can result in severe you can say disfigurement, especially of the face, and that is called as acromegaly, which may lead to serious complications and premature death if unchecked. So the disease, it is hard to diagnose and in the early stages, and it often goes undetected, and for many years it changes in the external feature, it becomes noticeable. So prolactin regulates the prolactin. Prolactin, what is its function? It regulates the growth of the mammary glands and formation of the milk. And thyroid stimulating hormone, it stimulates the synthesis or secretion of thyroid hormones, it stimulates the thyroid gland to secrete thyroxine. ACTH, that is adrenocorticotropic hormone, it stimulates the synthesis and secretion of steroid hormones which are called as glucocorticoids from the adrenal cortex. And LH and FSH, that is luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, they stimulate the gonads activities and hence they are called as gonadotropins also. In males, LH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the hormones called androgens from testes, and in males, FSH and androgens, they regulate spermatogenesis. In females, LH induces ovulation, and in fully mature follicles which are called as Graafian follicles, and they maintains the corpus luteum which is formed from the Graafian follicle after ovulation. So follicle stimulating hormone, it stimulates the growth and development of the ovarian follicles in females. Another is melanocyte stimulating hormone. Now MSH, it acts as a melanocyte or melanin containing cells which regulate the pigmentation of the skin, Oxytocin. Oxytocin, it acts on the smooth muscles of our body and stimulates their contraction. In females, it stimulates a vigorous contraction of the uterus at the time of the childbirth and milk ejection from the mammary gland. So vasopressin, it acts as it acts mainly at the kidneys and stimulates the reabsorption of water and electrolytes at the distal tubules, and it reduces the loss of water through the urine. So hence it is also called as anti-diuretic hormone or ADH. So they affect the synthesis or the release of ADH. It results in the diminished ability of the kidneys to conserve water, leading to water loss and dehydration, and this condition is known as diabetes insipidus.